Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Welcome to the channel again. This is Yahweh Heals 11. This is with your man, Trey Bev. And today we're going to be going over the book of Yonah, which is a very important, it's a powerful book. And I want to read through this and share the information of what I see and what I understand to help my people get a deeper understanding of the Most High's ways and how he operates and how he functions with his people. So I'll be reading this book from the CJB version. And if you guys are there with me, you guys can open up your books to Jonah chapter 1. And yeah, let's get into it. And this is going to be a great read for us. So it starts off and it says, "The word of Yahweh came to Yonah, the son of Amittai. Set out for the great city of Nineveh, and proclaim to it that their wickedness has come to my attention." Now, what you would have to notice is that Nineveh is a city that I believe is in Assyria, and at this time, they are enemies to the nation of Israel. Verse 3, "But Yonah, in order to get away from Yahweh, which you cannot do, prepared to escape to Tarshish. He went down to Yaffo, found a ship headed for Tarshish, and paid a fare and went aboard, intending to get away from Yahweh. However, Yahweh let loose over the sea a violent wind which created such stormy conditions that the ship threatened to break into pieces. The sailors were frightened, and each cried to his God. They threw the cargo overboard to make the ship easier for them to control. Meanwhile, Yonah had gone down below into the hold, where he laid and fell asleep. The ship's captain found him and said to him, 'What do you mean by sleeping? Get up and call on your God. Maybe the God will remember us and we won't die.' Then they said to each other, 'Come, let us draw lots to find out who is to blame for this calamity.' They drew lots, and Yonah was singled out. They said to him, 'Tell us now, why has this calamity come upon us? What work do you do? Where are you from? What is your country? Which is your people?' He answered them, 'I am a Hebrew, and I fear Yahweh, the Elohim of heaven, who made both the sea and the dry land.' At this, the men grew very afraid." So it seems like they already know the power of Yahweh. "And said to him, 'What is this that you have done?' For the men knew he was trying to get away from Yahweh, since he had told them. They asked him, 'What should we do to you, so that the sea would be calm for us?' For the sea was getting rougher all the time. 'Pick me up,' he told them, 'and throw me into the sea. Then the sea will be calm for you, because I know it's my fault that this terrible storm has come over you.' Nevertheless, the men rowed hard, trying to reach the shore, but they couldn't, because the sea kept growing wilder against them. Finally, they cried to Yahweh, 'Please, Elohim, don't let us perish for causing the death of this man, and don't hold us account for shedding innocent blood, because you, Yahweh, have done what you saw fit.' Then they picked up Yonah and threw him into the sea, and the sea stopped raging. Seized with great fear of Yah, they offered a sacrifice to Yahweh and made vows." Okay, let's go into chapter 2, and then we're going to do a little recap. Yahweh prepared a huge fish to swallow Yonah, and Yonah was in the belly of the fish for 3 days and 3 nights. From the belly of the fish, Yonah prayed to Yahweh, his Elohim. He said, out of my distress, I called to the Most High, and he answered me. From the belly of Sheol, I cried, and you heard my voice. For you threw me into the deep, into the heart of the sea, and the floods enveloped me. All your surging waves passed over me. I thought I had been banished from your sight, but I will again look at your holy temple. The water surrounded me, threatened my life. The deep closed over me. Seaweed twined around my head. I was going down to the bottom of the mountains, to a land whose bars would close me in forever. But you brought me up alive from the pit, Yahweh, my Elohim. As my life was ebbing away, I remembered Yahweh, and my prayer came to you and to your holy temple. Those who worship vain idols give up their source of mercy. But I, speaking my thanks aloud, will sacrifice to you what I have vowed, I will pay. Now listen to this last part right here. Salvation comes from Yahweh. Then Yahweh spoke to the fish, okay, and it vomited Yonah out onto the dry land. Okay, so for the recap on this, one of the things that we need to see is that Yonah had something against Nineveh, which I just said earlier when I first started this, that Nineveh was somewhere that was an enemy to the Israelites. So I can see a little bit why Yonah has such an issue with wanting to take this charge that was given to him from the Most High. And also a thing that is to take notice on here, it says, nevertheless, the men rowed hard, trying to reach the shore, so they wanted to help Yonah out. But they couldn't because it started growing wilder. And then it goes up to verse 15, where it says, then they picked up Yonah, threw him into the sea, and it stopped raging. Seized with great fear of Yahweh. Now listen, this is the men on the boat that were with Yonah. Seized with great fear of Yahweh, they offered sacrifices to Yahweh and made vows. So it seems to me that this strong, eventful situation not only was to help Yonah with clarity and respect and to show the might to Yonah to get him to obey Yah. This situation, as I read it, I see that it was also helping for these men on the boat as well. Because this life or death, I think we all can agree, life and death situations have an effect on people. And I'm pretty sure that these men cried out to their elves. But when they cried out to their elves, as you can see, the sea still kept raging and they did not get their relief. But it was when that they operated in a way that was pleasing to Yahweh, and they seen that the power that Yahweh has, these men grew some respect towards the Most High, and they made vows to him. Now, when we go and when we look up into chapter 2, we'll see that Yahweh had Yonah in deep thought for 3 days and 3 nights in the big fish. Now, this is key because when you read it at first, it says right here, Yahweh prepared a huge fish to swallow Yonah. And Yonah was in the belly of the fish for 3 days and 3 nights. From the belly of the fish, Yonah prayed to Yahweh his El, And he said, and he goes on, he says, out of my distress, I called to Yah, and he answered. So as I'm reading this, this is showing me that, first I would like to say, we don't know fully the mindset and what is going in Yonah's thoughts as he is in the belly of this fish for 3 days. But we can see that, guess what? Towards the end of these 3 days, as he's saying this prayer, that he says that, where is it at? He says, but I will again look at your holy temple. So as he's in this belly of this fish, at a point in time, Yah is giving him some comfort about his future. So again, I don't know his full mindset was from the first day, but it was when that he did this prayer on the 3rd day. And then it says right here, then Yahweh spoke to the fish and vomited Yonah out onto dry land. So we can see that it seems like that Yahweh was waiting for Yonah to get to a certain point in his inner being and his inner understanding. And once he came to that point where he was at the part where Yahweh needed him to be at, then this is when Yahweh commanded the fish to vomit Yonah out. And lastly, if y'all did not notice, I think I said it again, but at the end on chapter 2, it says this: salvation comes from Yah. And this is what you'll hear when you read and you go throughout this Torah and this word of the Most High, that salvation comes from nobody. Say it again. Salvation comes through nobody, and nobody has the power to save anything unless they're getting permission and approval from the Most High. So I would like to thank y'all people. This is a quick recap on Yonah chapter 2. And I hope you guys are seeing this play out like a film for you guys. And I want you guys to also stay tuned, because I'm also going to be going over chapter 3, and I'm going to be going over chapter 4. So please also watch that video after you see this one. Thank you, my Hebraic people. Shabbat Shalom if you're watching this on the Shabbat. And if not, thank you for your time. And yes, again, stay tuned for this next part 3 and part 4. Shalom.